Hi everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Ananya. I'm a senior here at Rochester. I study biomedical engineering. Outside the classroom, I do research. I'm the president of Biomedical Engineering Society. I also work for admissions, and actually I studied abroad in Australia my sophomore year. Yeah, awesome.
Jordan?
So, hi, I'm Jordan. I'm also a senior and I'm majoring in electrical and computer engineering. Outside of the classroom, I ran cross country and track for my first and second year here. I did some summer project work in the EC department for 2 summers. And I'm also a peer advisor this year.
Great. Andrew?
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I'm a sophomore slash I'm rising junior. I'm a computer science major here at the University of Rochester. I'm originally from Ghana, which is in West Africa. Outside the classroom, during my first year, I was an eco rep, which is a program where first years have an opportunity to actually learn about sustainability and also educate their respective residence floors on sustainability. In my sophomore year, I was a first year fellow, which is a program where we mentor first years on the floor, about academics and generally just give them guidance on most academic related stuff. And I was also an international student mentor, which generally we mentor international students during their first semester here. And yeah, I'm also office assistant at the Hajem School Dean's office. And so, yeah, nice to meet you all.
Great. Professor Lambropoulos?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is John Lambropoulos. I'm a faculty member in mechanical engineering. I've taught at the university for more than 30 years. I have parallel appointments and I do research in material science and in the laboratory for laser energetics. But perhaps what I'd like to think of as my greatest distinction is that two of my children have actually attended the University of Rochester for multiple degree programs, and now are both gainfully and very well employed. So this is quite impressive. For many years, I have served as department chair of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I also help a lot with recruiting men and women for the men and women's soccer programs here at the university. And I look forward to chatting with you for the rest of our webinar this afternoon.
Great. Professor Lerner?
Hi there, I'm Amy Lerner. I'm on the faculty in biomedical engineering, but also have an appointment in mechanical engineering. I've been at Rochester for a little over almost 22 years now, and have been quite involved in teaching design. So I teach our senior design program in biomedical engineering, as well as a master's program in medical device design. Like most of the faculty on campus, I also have ongoing research, and my research is in biomechanics, either biomechanics of the eye or the knee joint or various other things, and like very much to have the opportunity to have undergraduates involved in our research programs as well over the summer or during the academic year and so forth. So, so I'm really looking forward to answering questions that you might have about our programs or what you can do afterwards. I also love very much keeping in touch with our alumni, so I have a pretty good idea of what directions our students go when they finish, and it's really a great joy of mine to see how successful they are in their lives going on. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I might also add, I didn't do a proper introduction, but my name is Alvin Lamibo. I work in the Dean's office, and I've been here for about 5 years. And in my portfolio, I work really closely with our undergraduate program coordinators, who are kind of the first line of defense when students have questions about their undergraduate programs. And I work with our student organizations and do special events like orientation and commencement and working with admissions. So lots of different aspects of the undergraduate experience I work with. So engineering, we like to think of as the creation of technical solutions that are in the interest of humanity and society. So it's really building something in response to an interest of humanity and society. And we like to just compare that with the field of natural sciences, which seeks to describe and understand natural phenomena. Within the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, we offer 11 majors. Our school considers computer science to be in the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, as well as optics is the only other major that we have that doesn't really have engineering in the title. But to give you some highlights, not to specifically call out any of the departments, but computer science is our largest department. They have about 125 students who are graduating this year. And our departments kind of range all the way down to, I want to say optics is our smallest program. They have about 50 students this year. Engineering science is one of the programs that it's pretty special to us because it's a Bachelor of Arts program. The other programs are Bachelor of Science degree programs. And so with engineering science, it gives a lot of students a lot of latitude to introduce other aspects of other knowledge fields that they might be interested in. So some students will take engineering science with a focus on patent law, for example, or if they're interested in business, that would be an area that engineering science could be used. Interdepartmental engineering is kind of our make your own major that we offer. And so one of the ones that I've seen in most recently in that major is kind of a robotics major, which is kind of a combination of mechanical engineering, electrical and computer engineering, computer science, maybe some optics in there as well. So just some highlight, actually going back to the top, audio and music engineering is our most recent addition to the family of engineering and applied sciences majors. And biomedical engineering actually is 50% women who study in that program. So we're really proud of that. That's been a statistics at least for the past year, maybe 2 or 3. So for students who decide to study in HAGEM, and I apologize a little bit, I'm going to use HAGEM, engineering kind of interchangeably, but what I really mean by that is all of the majors that are reflected on the previous page. In your first year, students will get some foundational knowledge in one of the majors that they're intending to study, as well as exploration all over the field. So what we really do like to tell students is that you can come in with one major, and it's really flexible if students want to kind of take another major that's in the School of Engineering. So a lot of students in their first semester will take an introductory engineering course that for most majors can be any of the introductory engineering courses and can be used towards any of the majors. Most students will take a math course in their first semester, and the course that you take will depend on your intended major as well as your previous math experience. And then depending on the major that you choose, the rest of that first and second semester will be courses in chemistry, physics, computer science. The university does have a mandatory writing class that's taken in primarily in the first year. And again, a lot of students do change their majors in that first year. There's probably about 10% of students who will end up changing their major then. As I mentioned, it's pretty fluid for students to change their major. So even if students take their first semester and they realize engineering really isn't for them, they can continue studying engineering either through a minor or a cluster. And so we do encourage that as well. All of the introductory engineering courses that we have are open to all undergraduate students who are enrolled either at the college as well as at the Eastman School. So we have a really special relationship with the Eastman School of Music, which is the music conservatory within the Greater University of Rochester. All students who are studying within HAGEM can take courses down at Eastman with no change in tuition or no additional tuition, that sort of thing. There's also 22 clusters. So students who major in arts and sciences, the humanities or the social sciences, are able to take one of the engineering clusters that will fulfill their Rochester curriculum requirements. And of those, we've actually added 7 in the past few years that we've designed specifically to be interdisciplinary, because we know that, for example, students who are doing dance as their major might not have the same aptitude for or interest in the technical aspects, but we still do offer a biomechanics cluster. So I think that that's one of the ways that we're trying to really allow students of all interests and backgrounds to study engineering. I just wanted to open up our list of introductory engineering courses. There's a combination of 4-credit and 2-credit courses that are kind of listed here. And that's really because we want to, again, reduce the barrier for students who think that engineering might not be for them, to give them sort of an easy onboard into taking an introductory engineering course. So a little bit about our advising approach. Some people would say that it's complicated. I'd like to say that it's layered. There's a lot of different opportunity for different kinds of touch points. So Professor Lambropoulos and Professor Lerner are two examples of the departmental faculty. So each student right now is a faculty member within their department who will serve as their primary advisor. And as well within the department, there are the undergraduate program coordinators that I kind of talked about earlier. As well, in my office, I'm in the dean's office, we have 6 advisors as well who are available for walk-in hours or over email, that sort of thing, to answer questions. Our office also houses the peer advising program. So that's, again, a group of students who are kind of go through a 1-semester training program to learn about how to advise students and the different offices around campus, and how to really help students from that peer level think about some of the issues that other students might be having.
Alvin, if I may add just for a quick
Sure.
minute, that faculty advisors advise students through their 4 years in the School of Engineering. So we advise students starting as first-year students, and we literally see them through commencement. So we get to learn very easily and very quickly the strengths, the needs, the professional plans for the students in terms of graduate school, employment, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah. So then, in addition to the formal advising that you might be getting from folks in the academic departments and from students, there are also kind of informal relationships that students will form with professional advisors across different areas in student services and student life. So that might include the Office for Student Activities, the Office for Career Education and Outcomes, the Office of Minority Student Affairs, our Center for Leadership. So there's lots of different kinds of advising that students can get. And we really hope that students at the end of their 4 years will really have a great network of folks that they can count on if they have any questions. Kind of moving on to our special opportunities, a few of them are curricular. So the physics department a few years ago realized that, or instituted at our university, some of you might be familiar with the concept of flipped course or mastery based. So what students in this, kind of 120 series, 120p series, those students will kind of learn the material ahead of time and are required to demonstrate mastery before they can move on to a different module in those introductory courses. And we actually find that students who take that course self-paced, a greater percentage of them end up passing the course and with higher grades than students in the traditional lecture-based courses. We offer 2 courses that are related to career and professional identity, CAS 104, which is aimed at first year and sophomore students, and then Writing 273, which is aimed at sophomores and juniors. And those courses really allow students to kind of look internally and think about, why am I interested in engineering and how can I think about my career as it relates to engineering. Outside of that, we do have 20 pre-professional organizations. I think, Ananya, you said that you were the president of the Biomedical Engineering Society, so that's one of the societies that we have, and design groups. So one of the student organizations we have is Mini Baja, and they build a car every year, or every 2 years, excuse me. Research opportunities. A lot of students will, as early as their first year, will decide that they want to get involved in research, and so in my experience, it's really been that 100% of students who are looking for research will get it. But I think the number that we report out is actually closer to 70% of all students at the U of R who participate in research. We do have a number of global experiences that students will try to participate in. Traditional study abroad, which are either one semester programs, they could be summer long. And then we have short-term faculty-led programs. Those are traditionally done over the summer. But we also have shorter experiences. So Engineers Without Borders is one of our student organizations, and they've been going to the Dominican Republic for the past few years to do some service learning there. And then Design Day is kind of this picture in the upper right-hand corner. All of our senior design groups and some of the master's programs, such as the one that Professor Lerner is the academic director for, at the end of the year will present all of their programs or all of the design projects to other students and visitors and that sort of thing. So we're in the process of coming up with what that program is going to look like in a virtual sense this year. I did want to specifically talk about the Grand Challenges Scholars Program as one of the special opportunities. So this is a program we've had at the University of Rochester for about the past 3 years. It's a program that's run by the National Academy of Engineering, and what they've done is they've identified 14 grand challenges in the areas of sustainability, health, security, and knowledge. And these are programs that are, by their nature, interdisciplinary and really difficult to solve. So for example, one of them is providing access to clean water. And so what Grand Challenges scholars do is they take on one of the 14 grand challenges and they study that challenge in 5 different dimensions: research and interdisciplinary experience, something related to entrepreneurship or innovation, something that's related to global learning, and then a service or community-based component. So this has been a growing program. I think our first year, we actually were able to identify 3 or 5 students who just over the course of being at the University of Rochester for 4 years, they were able to complete this. So this is a great opportunity for students who would really like to think about taking their studies to a direct problem and trying to build some of the experiences that they do as an undergraduate around that. So a few points of pride that we like to talk about. HAJM students who study engineering or computer sciences constitute about 30% of the college. We think that's a really nice sweet spot. That means that, you know, of all the students that you're going to see on campus, many of them are going to be studying engineering or computer science, but a lot of them are also going to be studying arts and sciences. And we think that that just creates a great environment to live and to learn. You know, sometimes students will be taking an English course with English majors, and that just creates such a more vibrant learning opportunity than, you know, if there were a school where the percentage was much more than 30%. We have a pretty nice student to faculty ratio, 16:1. And then we like to think of the college as this really nice residential small school within this larger context of university. So the University of Rochester is actually the largest employer in the area. And we have, and kind of because of that, we have access to a lot of great opportunities for students, such as at the Laboratory for Laser Energetics, the Gurgen Institute for Data Science, the Clinical and Translational Science Institute, and then our Center for Entrepreneurship, which runs a lot of business competitions over the course of the year. And then one kind of statistic is that for this past class, 23% of students had a meaningful global experience. We'd love to get that up to 100, but I think 25% we think is manageable for right now for our goal. A lot of students have questions about student outcomes. This is data for this most recent class of students who reported to us, the class of 2019. This is data that we collected in November and December of last year. About 60% of the students who reported back said that they were employed, and 35% of them said that they were continuing education. The top employers are listed over here. Some of the job titles that our students went into included software engineer, software developer, research assistant, financial analyst, optical engineer, clinical research coordinator. So there's lots of opportunities. I would say it's pretty spread out, the kinds of things that our students do after they graduate. It's not everyone is going to be a design engineer right after they graduate. And then again, about 35% of our students go on to continuing education. So I have right here a list of the common graduate schools that students apply to or get matriculate at. So that ends the formal presentation. On this slide, I do have our contact information. I do encourage you to get in touch with us if you have specific questions. And then kind of on the right-hand side, just some keywords that we kind of talked about today, just so that I can get you jogging through your heads again, some of the different things that are going on. So at this point, I think we'll move on to the questions. And I'll probably, let's start with one for the students. Is it possible to study abroad in engineering? through non-UR study abroad programs? I'm not entirely sure. I think, Jordan, you said you studied abroad. I'm not sure if that was a U of R program or not.
I think
I
a
did.
non-U did.
Yeah, so I can actually answer because I work for the study abroad office as well. So it is possible to study abroad on a non-UFR program. The only issue that you kind of run into is figuring out credit transfer, transfer backs, and also financial aid and scholarships. But UFR has like around, I would say, 20 different engineering programs that you can go on. So like definitely there's a choice there. But if you do want to go on a non-UFR program, we will make it possible, and it's just going to take more planning in advance. Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I add a comment to what Ananya just said? And that is that when engineering students, when we advise them to study abroad, the goal is, and I think Ananya sort of implied this, the goal is for the students to take courses so that by the time they come back to the university, they're in sync with the rest of their classmates, so that there's no delay in their graduation time.
Great. Andrew, I have a question that I think would be great for you. Do we need to have prior knowledge of computer science in order to study in computer science as a major?
No, you don't need prior knowledge. So, I mean, there are a number of people who come in maybe having like programmed before or having like a fair idea of what computer science is. But the program is actually designed to teach you like the very basics and stuff from scratch. And so there are two intro classes that are dedicated to majors who are interested in computer science and people who just want to experience computer science. And so, yeah, 171 is for majors, and then there's 161, which is for anyone who just wants to explore. So you don't need any prior experience, and you actually learn a lot in your first intro class.
Awesome. We had a few questions that came in, and I'm wondering, maybe we'll start with the faculty on this one. What's the meaning of an undergraduate engineering degree in today's world?
So I can take a stab at that if you'd like. So I think that for many of our programs, an engineering degree is really a way of learning how to think about problems and do problem solving. Sometimes students think that, well, I did a major in biomedical engineering, therefore I can only do biomedical engineering. But in fact, many of our students shift gears quite a little bit as they graduate. We sometimes have students who study biomedical engineering but gradually develop an interest in sustainability, and they might go into environmental engineering. Sometimes they will do a graduate program to shift gears a little bit. But I think that there's lots of different directions that they can go. Our intention is in the engineering programs to give you a really good foundation that you can apply in a variety of different directions as you are interested. We've tailored the programs to be ABET accredited in a particular area so that they fulfill the expectations of an employer. If they want to hire a biomedical engineer, they kind of know what they're getting, or if they want to hire a mechanical engineer, they know what they're getting. But the reality is that many students shift gears and go in different directions as well. And I think engineers are well known to be able to learn on the fly, address new challenges. And that's certainly what we need these days. So
I would add to this, Amy, that the capability to do engineering design is a very unique experience. And although not everybody who's graduating with an engineering degree will be doing design for 20 or 30 or 40 years after they graduate, knowing what the design process is means that in any kind of technical context, whether it's entrepreneurial, a small company, or a big corporation, the process of design plays a very important role in today's technology, in today's economy, in today's social climate.
I have a question that I think I'll direct to all of the students, but Andrew, you were kind of called out specifically in one of the questions, so I'll direct it to you. It says, Andrew, have you done any research? Do you know how many undergrads are able to do research in computer science? And then there's a few other questions that are generally talking about research opportunities. So Jordan and Ananya, I'm wondering if you could chime in there as well.
Gotcha. So currently I'm involved in a research project actually in the optics department where I do software programming for them. So it's not like mainly in the computer science department, but I am involved in research. And there are lots of opportunities to actually get involved in computer science research because most computer science faculty here actually do research. And so it's very easy to be able to get an opportunity to actually participate. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of research opportunities like natural language processing, machine vision, artificial intelligence. There's definitely a lot of opportunities to get involved. Yeah.
For me personally, I started with a research opportunity through the Xerox Engineering Research Fellows program that we have here. So I was paired with a faculty mentor in the EC department, and I was able to work on a project the summer after my sophomore year to develop a Android application to help caregivers of children with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. So I was able to actually learn a bit more about programming, and I programmed in Java and XML. And I ended up also having the opportunity to continue that a little during the school year and then the following summer. So definitely if you are looking for research, that certain programs like that and also REUs are a way to do that, but you could also just reach out to any professor and see if they have an open spot in their lab.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. After my first year, I emailed a lot of professors that I was interested in the BME department. I was like, hi, I'm a first year. I'm really interested in research. And actually, a lot of them do respond back to you. So that's how I got my position in my actually undergraduate advisor's lab. So he was my advisor and then he became my PI, which was really funny. So I worked in his lab. I still do actually. Despite the COVID situation. It's been 3 years. It's been really awesome. I actually got to go to a conference because of the project as well. And then I took part in Xerox last summer and I got a new project through that. So it's really easy. Professors are very enthusiastic about getting undergraduates in their labs because, research is great at Rochester. So definitely a good area to be in.
I would add that students at the university can do research either for pay, in which case they're paid research assistants, or they can do research for credit. They can get research credits, or for neither. They can actually be research volunteers. So there are a lot of different modes of being involved with research. One caveat is that you cannot do research for pay and get credit, academic credit at the same time. It's one or the other, and depending on if you need the academic credit or if you need to make some extra money and so on and so forth.
Great. We have a question that I think I'm going to turn over to you, Professor Lambropoulos. How many students have gone on to pursue aerospace engineering after graduating with a mechanical engineering? What does that path look like?
Yeah, so as it turns out, the differences between aerospace engineering and mechanical engineering are really, really very small. If anything, I always tell students that if you have an interest in aerospace engineering, your long-term professional goals are more safe if you study mechanical engineering, because mechanical engineering, there's a steady demand for mechanical engineers regardless of what the economy is like. Whereas specifically for aerospace engineering, with different cycles in the aerospace industry, professionals in that field are a little bit more exposed to the cyclical economy changes. Essentially, one can pursue an aerospace track within mechanical engineering by taking maybe one or two additional courses, specifically in the area of fluid mechanics, either in compressible flow or computational fluid mechanics. And with this kind of background, one is perfectly suited for working professionally in aerospace or going on to aerospace engineering graduate school. As a matter of fact, right now I'm teaching a course on heat transfer, which is taken mostly by third-year students and by some seniors as well. And quite a few of the students have a long-term interest in aerospace, so they have a lot of project work that's actually related to aerospace engineering, but it's really all mechanical engineering. So I guess the bottom line is that the difference between mechanical and aerospace are very small. They can be very easily spanned together.
Great. We had a few questions come in specifically around biomedical engineering. So I'm wondering, Professor Lerner and Ananya, if you could take these on. There was one question: how common is it for BME students to pursue pre-medicine as a track? Is that manageable? And then what would be the difference between graduating with just BME versus BME with a pre-med biomedical engineering degree? I guess just to clarify, we don't have, pre-med isn't offered as a major at the University of Rochester. It's a series of courses that students have to take. And we call it pre-health because we know that it's not just medicine that students want to go into. Yeah, maybe a few thoughts about medicine and engineering programs.
Yeah, so I think we've done the analysis, and it's something like 25% of our students who have gone on for some kind of health degree. I think some of the students think it's more than that, but in fact it is, it's only about 25%, but it is entirely doable. Our curriculum was designed in such a way that you do have to use your electives you have to be careful because we don't require everything that is required for the medical degree, but it is possible to fit in everything that's required for pre-med into a regular biomedical engineering degree. Sometimes it's the sequence of courses that you have to be a little bit careful about, and so some of the students will choose to do a class over the summer in order to stay on track. There's been a trend over the years for students to not go straight into medical school, not just at U of R, but across the country. Many people will take a year or two off to work for a little while, to do research, to volunteer. And that often is the time that they would do the MCATs and so forth. So that takes some of the pressure off the timing of getting everything done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it is entirely possible. Every year we have a few students who go straight on for the pre-med or for medical school, but more often we have students who go on a couple of years later. So it's entirely possible to do that. Again, it's just a matter of choosing the electives carefully and working with our pre-health advising to make sure that you have caught everything there. Some of our students, there were also some questions, maybe I can dovetail a little bit about the master's degree. And some of the students will stay on for a 1-year master's degree in order to do something else while they're getting ready for medical school, and that's not uncommon. It is entirely possible to do a 1-year master's. So although we don't have a 5-year combined BS-MS, you can absolutely do a 4-year BS and a 1-year master's to get a 5-year BS-MS. So it's not a formal program, but it's entirely possible to do that. It depends on how much research you want to do as part of the master's. But many of our students do a 1-year master's program after graduating. And often the pre-meds do it because they want to fill in a little bit or postpone the MCATs and so forth.
Because we also have the GEAR program. Sorry, my voice just died. So that's like a combined bachelor's master's program, but that's like something you apply separately when you already applied.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We had one question come in specifically for ECE, but it's related to another question that came in. So I'm wondering, I'll open this up to all of the students, but maybe we can start with Jordan. Oh, how hands-on is the coursework overall? I'm interested in pursuing electrical and computer engineering. And then there was another question that came in, is the learning project-based?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can start. So there definitely are several hands-on parts of the curriculum. A lot of courses that are in the EC department have labs with them. So you can go in to like a physical lab and work with like breadboards and different components and everything. And there's also the senior design project for all engineering majors at the end, like your last semester. And that's definitely very project-based, and you work in a group of seniors to get that done. Yeah, I feel like with Rochester, it's very research-based, but there are definitely also some hands-on components involved.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm also doing a minor in electrical and computer engineering, and I also have a close friend who is actually an electrical and computer engineering major. So far, the classes I have taken, though very related to my major in computer science, have also been really like project based. Um, Even though you definitely have to understand like how everything works in theory before you can actually do like it practically. So yeah, I've had a lot of experience doing it, I guess project based, and also I guess you always have the opportunity to seek out like more projects, maybe in terms of I'm working with other students in labs, and I think yeah, there's definitely that opportunity. And then there's also a lot of I guess research work, but since like most of the faculty are also doing research, and so you can definitely do that too.
Yeah, and I can speak for BME. If I go back to like my first year onwards, I think we've either had a lab section or a project. I think none of my BME course had like nothing. Like we always had a group project. Starting from BME 101, you always work with a group to like do research on a topic and you present a poster. From 201, you do a mechanics project with MATLAB, which is a coding language that you use. And then for circuits, you make like circuit board and so definitely leading up to senior design, you get experience every single semester, and you are also working with other people, which is I think a very important skill to have as an engineer. So definitely there's a lot of scope for project work for you guys.
Can I add a comment to what the students just mentioned, and that is that there are a lot of design-related, project-related work at U of R that's not done for credit. For example, Mini Baja is one such activity. Solar Splash, building a boat driven by photovoltaic power is another such activity. Let's see, UR robotics is another such activity. All these teams build a big structure which is taken to a national competition. So there's a lot of project hands-on work outside the classroom. And the nice thing with that activity is that it's primarily student-led, but with some faculty advisors just to make sure that somebody doesn't propose something entirely crazy, as so to speak.
Great. We had a few more questions come in about BME, so I'll leave this to Professor Lerner and Ananya. Do biology, oh wait, maybe this isn't necessarily BME, but do biology and engineering intersect in any fields other than medical? And then there was another question that was kind of what's the difference between studying biology and biomedical engineering?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. And I think, so there certainly is an intersection of biomedical engineering or biology and engineering in all the disciplines. I mean, we have faculty in mechanical engineering and faculty in electrical engineering and in computer science. Many faculty who have research programs that intersect with biology. And some of them are actually secondary faculty in our department and trained graduate students in the BME department or undergraduate students working in the labs. So with this very strong medical center that we have, it's really easy for faculty and students to interact between engineering and medicine. So many of the programs have those opportunities. In biomedical engineering, I think the difference between BME and biology is that we tend to be trying to problem solve using technology, really trying to not necessarily to understand the biology or the biological question, but trying to solve problems to develop new technologies, or perhaps to understand the biology, but using technical things, not just to study the cells, but to use new optical techniques to study the cells, to develop new optical techniques or new biomechanical tools that allow us to interact with tissues and so forth. But there's lots of crossover in all the different departments within HAGEM, and often collaborations between faculty. So I actually supervise students both in mechanical engineering and in biomedical engineering, and value that quite a lot, the opportunity to work with students from both sides. So, and there was another question I noticed about for biomechanics? Is it suggested to do mechanical or biomedical engineering? Really either one. It depends a little bit where your emphasis is. We can, many of the faculty have collaborations, and which major you choose, you can decide, and you don't even have to decide the minute you walk in the door. Some of our students start in one and shift over to the other, or shift back, or whatever. It's straightforward to spend a year or two to make that final decision.
Great. I want to be cognizant of time. I think our session is only scheduled until 3:45. So at this point, I do want to say, if you haven't gotten your question answered, we are going to be on Facebook and Instagram kind of answering some more of these questions. So if you don't see the answer here, we'll probably try to answer it in another format. So please try and follow us, or send us an email if you want to have a specific question that you want answered. I'm going to turn this last question over to the students, which I think is a great summation kind of question. It was, for the students, what made you choose Rochester over the other schools that you got accepted to? Maybe we'll start with Jordan, yeah.
Oh, I can start. So for me, when I visited, I really liked the campus. I really loved how pretty it was and kind of the traditional style of it. And also when I was walking around, when I was walking around, I noticed that the students all seemed very friendly. Some of them would come up to my parents and I and say, oh, do you need help finding anything? And I was really surprised by that. And I just really liked the mix of engineering and arts and sciences that are on the campus. I liked how it wasn't just a technical school, but it just had kind of everybody, every kind of person there. And the academics are also really good. So yeah, that was pretty much, I think, the main points for me.
Yeah, so for me, I guess I actually did early decision to Rochester. And I guess like what actually fascinated me was the opportunity to actually design my experience. Because coming in, I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to be an electrical and computer engineering major or do computer science. I had a bit of interest in both, and so I also like had lots of interest in like humanities, social sciences that I just like hadn't explored previously, because my prior education had all been very technical. And so I just wanted a school where I get a balance of like everything. And actually looking back now, I think it's like the best decision I made, because I have like studied stuff from philosophy, psychology, I have taken economics classes, and I have also been able to do all the technical stuff I have done, and through programs I've been able to decide that I want to do computer science and do a minor in electrical and computer engineering. And as Jordan said, the students are very friendly and like everyone is so supportive. And so I think, yeah, that's why I made the decision, because like the school just seemed to really fit that like being able to explore as much of my interests as possible.
Mine, it's also similar. Like, it's gonna sound like the same answer, but I think it started when I received my letter. It was very personalized, and that's something I wasn't like used to, because it was like, oh, Ananya, we like this, and I'm like, really, me? Ah, that's amazing. So I think just like starting off, it's a positive note, and then I met all the admissions counselors. I didn't really get to visit because I am an international student, so I didn't really come to Rochester. But everyone was so nice. My admission counselor was really friendly. The students I met were amazing, and it's just like making you feel like you already like kind of belong here before you even get here. I think that was really amazing. And then the open curriculum, because we're all confused when we're 18, so I think just having freedom to do whatever you want is kind of nice. But yeah, no regrets. I'm a senior now, and I think it's been amazing also for years. So yeah, I hope you guys come.
Awesome. Well, I think with that, Zachary and I put our contact information, as well as Patrick Lutz in admissions. So if you have any other questions, feel free to continue asking those questions. We'll be sure to answer them all before too soon, hopefully. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks Alvin and all the panelists for running a smooth event here. Again, myself and my colleagues from the admissions office have put our email addresses. Alvin has done that as well. If you have questions, we will either be able to answer them or get them off to the proper people to be able to answer them. So thank you all for attending. And again, thanks to all the panelists, students, faculty, Alvin, and my colleagues for making this a smooth success. Have a great day, guys.
Be safe, everybody.